The White House says it has no plan to issue a point-by-point rebuttal of a critical book that promises to land like a bomb in the Oval Office on Tuesday, even though it's already broad-brush painted it as sinister and deceitful. Early published excerpts from Fear by journalist Bob Woodward of Watergate fame have enraged President Donald Trump, who called the author a liar in an agitated morning tweet. The White House believes it can win a credibility battle with the Washingon Post legend. Trump is mired in anemic approval numbers, according to a Quinnipiac Universtiy poll issued Tuesday that found 60% of American voters consider him dishonest and untrustworthy. The same survey found just 38% approve of the president's job performance. But faced with a renowned reporter saying on television that Trump is waging a war on truth, his administration is doing nothing to list the things in fear that it finds dishonest or otherwise objectionable. "I think that would be a complete and utter waste of our time," White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told Daily Mail. During a Monday briefing. So, in responding to the dismal poll numbers, Sanders insisted that Trump is absolutely a credible voice in the battle with Woodward for voters' hearts and minds. Trump has repeated denials from two senior officials, Secretary of Defense James Mattis and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, who say quotes Woodward attributed to them are invented. Former Trump lawyer John Dowd has also publicly dismissed Woodward's accounts of his work and his words as false. Sanders said those denials, with the names of prominent officials attached to them, should outweigh Woodward's anonymous sources. "I would certainly rather take the actual on-record account from people who are here, who have been working in this building, who have been interacting with this president day in, day out, like Jen. Mattis, like Jen. Kelly, like myself," she said, "not disgruntled former employees that refuse to put their name on things when they come out to attack the president." Woodward wrote that following a meeting about the military threat from North Korea, Mattis told associates that Trump had the geopolitical understanding of a 5th or 6th grader. Mattis returned fire hours after that claim was first published a week ago, calling it a product of someone's rich imagination. "The contemptuous words about the president attributed to me in Woodward's book were never uttered by me or in my presence," he said then in a statement. "While I generally enjoy reading fiction, this is a uniquely Washington brand of literature, and his anonymous sources do not lend credibility." Kelly insisted that he had not, as Woodward wrote, called Trump an idiot. "The idea I ever called the president an idiot is not true," he said, calling the claim another pathetic attempt to smear people close to President Trump and distract from the administration's many successes. Former Trump lawyer John Dowd has also pushed back against Woodward, denying a series of vignettes in Fear that paint him as a realist who identified the president as a chronic fabulist following a practice session meant to determine whether he could survive a grilling by special counsel Robert Mueller's team. There was no so-called practice session or reenactment of a mock interview at the special counsel's office, Dowd told reporters last week. Further, "I did not refer to the president as a liar and did not say that he was likely to end up in an orange jumpsuit." Trump himself has denied that he called Attorney General Jeff Sessions mentally retarded and a dumb Southerner. "I said neither," he tweeted last week, never used those terms on anyone, including Jeff. He added a claim that Woodward made up those anecdotes. And he told reporters aboard Air Force One that a Woodward story about former chief economic advisor Gary Cohn stealing a document from his desk was completely false. In Woodward's telling, Cohn swiped a draft letter to South Korea's government so the president couldn't move forward with a plan to scuttle a long-standing trade agreement. Gary Cohn never took a memo off my desk, Trump said Friday during a flight from Montana to North Dakota. If he did, he would have been fired within the first second that it took place. NBC Today show anchor Savannah Guthrie pressed Woodward on Monday about his heavy reliance on accounts from people he doesn't identify. It is mostly anonymous sources in here. Why should people trust you? She asked. There's a war on truth by him, Woodward shot back, speaking of the president. He says these are unnamed sources, but these are not unnamed incidents. Specific people on specific dates. Minutes later, Trump tweeted that the author is a liar and complimented a network he has called worse than CNN for challenging him. Woodward is like a Democratic operative prior to the midterms, Trump wrote, referring to the timing of the book's release just 2 months before the November congressional election. He was caught cold, even by NBC, he added, referring to the network he has blasted recently as even worse than CNN. Guthrie reminded Woodward of the denials from Mattis and Kelly and asked, are they lying? They are not telling the truth, he answered. These are political statements to protect their jobs. Totally understandable. Share this article. Share. The president was already castigating Woodward Monday morning before the Today Show interview aired. The Woodward book is a joke, just another assault against me, in a barrage of assaults, using now disproven unnamed and anonymous sources, he tweeted. Many have already come forward to say the quotes by them, like the book, are fiction. And in a signal that he plans to be an aggressive counterpuncher in advance of the November midterm elections, he jabbed his liberal opponents, suggesting Woodward is among them. Dems can't stand losing. I'll write the real book, Trump jabbed. Woodward said on Today that he had never seen an instance when the president is so detached from the reality of what's going on. NBC privacy policy. He resorted on Monday to quoting a junior reporter at the Washington Examiner who tore the book apart on Sunday. I'm taking this book with a grain of salt, and everyone should do the same, he quoted Catalin Corral saying. Multiple sources, but almost every one of them has come out and discredited the claims made by Woodward. You cannot take this book too seriously. Trump also retweeted one of his own posts from Friday, driving home the argument that Woodward's book is a scam because he doesn't use patterns of speech that the author attributes to him. These quotes were made up, he wrote. Pre-orders have pushed Fear 2 at the top of Amazon's bestseller list.